All right, we'll say good morning. Let's get started. We're just going to happen a few minutes of the Hatzaddik of Tzidkas Hatzaddik. It's a long daf today, a beautiful daf today, but a long daf. So we'll just really get in a few moments. Remember again, last week we began Os Tzaddik Hey, Os 95 in Reb Tzaddik, and here Reb Tzaddik was speaking about the concept of what he called Chatos Neurim, the sins or the indiscretions of our youth. And he discussed the idea that youth is often marked by what he called Tzidkas Hatzaddik, a bubbling or a resichim is like a boiling of desires. Whereas most of life is marked by all kinds of desires, when we're young, there's often a great intensity of those desires. And therefore, Reb Tzaddik explained that so much of youth is being able to contend with those desires. He spoke about the fact that during youth, often the most acute desires which we contend with are the desires of morality, or I should say immorality. And the Rebbe explained how Dor HaMabul, the generation of the flood, their challenge ultimately again was this Tzidkas Hatzaddik. Their challenge ultimately again was this inability to rein in on those youthful passions and desires. That was their great challenge. As a result of their inability to go ahead and do it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu restarts the world. He then explained very beautifully that the Dor HaMidbar, the generation of the desert, was a Gilgul, was a reincarnation of the Dor HaMabul, and this time again the generation of the desert found the ability to say Naaseh v'Nishma, found the ability to channel that youthful vigor, because we'll say, remember again, one of the things that we've constantly been seeing, one of the themes of the motifs in Reb Tzaddik, is that inside of us, there's no such thing as a negative energy, right? There's no such thing as a negative nida. There's no such thing as something bad that's inside of you. What we all possess is an incredible amount of koach, an incredible amount of energy, and it's all a shaila of how you choose to channel it. So I could take energy and channel it in the wrong way, but the energy itself is not bad. The energy itself is parif. It's just a question of what you choose to do with it. So it's the same energy that was misappropriated and misused by the Dor HaMabul, the generation of the flood, was the same energy that was directed and channeled in a positive way by the Dor HaMidbar. So whereas the Dor HaMabul used it to sin, specifically in the area of immorality, Dor HaMidbar, the generation of the desert, ultimately used it to say Naaseh v'Nishma. So we'll say, so what I want to just look where Tzaddik goes on, this is in page Reish Chav Ches. Reish Chav Ches. Dr. Roshavsky, welcome back. Reish Chav Ches. So we'll say, so in the Be'urei Chasidus, the left-hand side, so the Rebbe says, U'nefashos yisor shahayu b'dor shal Mashiach, az yeh lahem ha'gilgul b'pam shlishis, shal nefashos oso dar, shahayu bizman hamabul u'bizman matan Torah. First, I literally just wanted to show you this line. This one line where the Rebbe says, in the generation of Mashiach, ultimately, again, is it, Ari, thank you so much. Thank you. Is it, really, thank you. Is a Gilgul, right? Is a Gilgul of both generations. Okay, so that's unnecessary, right? Is a Gilgul of both generations. So we'll say, see what happens over here? Reb Tzaddik says there are like 3 points in time. There's the Dor HaMabul, misuse of youthful energy. The Dor HaMidbar, the generation of the desert, proper channeling of youthful energy, Naaseh v'Nishma. And then there's the generation of Mashiach. I will say, when's the generation of Mashiach? We're the generation of Mashiach, right? In the generation of Mashiach, what happens? There's a Gilgul, there's a reincarnation of both of these neshamas, both of these generations. The Dor HaMashiach is a Gilgul of the Dor HaMidbar and the Dor HaMabul, which I will say tells you something absolutely amazing. That in the generation of Mashiach, which we have to believe that we are, the generation of Mashiach, the greatest challenge that we face is a channeling of our energies in the appropriate way. Specifically, the youthful energy, specifically the challenges of morality. That is the great challenge of the generation of Mashiach. As well, so remember again, Reb Tzaddik is saying the most difficult thing in life is to take that taivas neurim, to take those desires of one's youth, that youthful energy that is so often marked by a propensity and an extreme desire for immorality, and to channel it in the right way. Because I will say, remember again, I want to point out, remember, how does the Torah describe immorality, right? Torah uses an interesting word when it describes the zona, right? The harlot. You know how it describes her? Torah describes her activity? Chesed. Chesed. Okay, that's interesting. Because again, thank you for that, right? Because we'll say, what's immorality? Immorality is being too kind to too many people, right? That's what immorality is. So the energy of immorality, right, is an energy of an extreme willingness to give. So ultimately, if that power can be harnessed and rechanneled, then there is the potential for an incredible amount of accomplishment. So Reb Tzaddik says in the generation of Mashiach, which is our generation, we are the generation of Mashiach. There's a Gilgul, there's a reincarnation of the Dor HaMabul, the Dor HaMidbar, all the neshamas converging together. All the neshamas who struggled with the same exact things, which were at the end of the day, how to channel the youthful energy. How do you channel taivas neurim? How do you channel that strong desire that we have that all too often gets misdirected into the realm of immorality, that all too often gets misdirected into the realm of inappropriate activity? How do I take that energy and channel it in the right way? And I will say that is our challenge, to be able to take our koach and to channel it in the right direction. Also, I'm reading a great book now on the topic of mindfulness. And the truth is, it's incredible to see that the great challenge of our generation is mindfulness. If you think about it, and let's say just a simple thing like going through shir and not looking at your phone. By the way, this is not like a technology thing. I'm very pro technology. Right? I'm saying just being able to be present in the moment. Can you be present? Can you be present from 5:45 to 6:45 without barring emergencies? The inability to be mindful of what it is that we're doing for any sustained amount of time. That ability. So we'll say. So what's the pshat? We have an inability to kind of like channel ourselves into any one thing for a prolonged amount of time. And so Reb Tzaddik is saying the generation of Mashiach, what's the great challenge? It's the challenge of channeling. It's the challenge of ultimately taking your koach and putting it somewhere, being mindful of where you're putting it, and ultimately maximizing it wherever you're channeling it to. See, the Dor HaMabul took all of this youthful energy, they just diffused it into a whole bunch of different things, immorality, all different kinds of things. Dor HaMidbar channeled it and was able to put it into something concrete. Nasev and Ishma. The pre-Messianic era, which is our Dar, the great challenge is channeling. I'm all over the place. At any given time, at any point in day, I'm all over this. Rosa, think about this, right? Doesn't this happen to us? Think about just how our days go. You're sitting, you're working. And I will say, think about this. In any moment of the day, what are you monitoring? What are you monitoring at any time of the day? Right? Your email, your text, your WhatsApp, your this, your Twitter handle, your this, your that. Right? And all of this is happening over the course of the day. What am I channeling towards? So, and we don't realize, like, I finished learning and I don't feel as accomplished as I should. Well, that's because I wasn't learning the whole time. And when I finish my day of work, I'm not as accomplished as I would like to because I wasn't really working the whole time. Right? I'm never doing anything all of the time. I'm doing a lot of different things for a little bit of time, for a lot of the time. The whole yesod of the pre-Messianic era is the ability to channel our kohos in a comprehensive and concrete way into defined pockets of accomplishment. Dor HaMidbar, Dor HaMabul failed at this. Dor HaMidbar rectify this Na'aseh v'nishma. Dor of Mashiach, our generation, has this tug of war, because we're all Gilgulim. But says in this according to the Rebbe, we're all Gilgulim. We're either a Gilgul of someone during Dor HaMabul, or a Gilgul of someone from Dor HaMidbar. I knew it, but I know a bunch of guys from Dor HaMabul. This all makes a lot of sense to me now. Right? So there's this tug of war. There's this tug of war. Which neshama am I? But it doesn't really matter which neshama I am. Whatever I am, my obligation is now to try to figure out a way to take my kolchos and to channel them into something productive. So we'll have to stop over here for today. We'll spend one more day on this os because it's incredibly important, and then we'll move on. Shkayach, everyone.